We're going to ask you questions, but I'm also going to get Gareth eating a sandwich.
Yeah. Eddie, we're here at this fabulous luncheon. It really is a great card on the 26th.
Really is, yeah.
But before I ask you about that card, I got to ask you about Bob Arum. And what'd you think about that when Bob made?
I spoke to my dad about it today, and because my dad grew up in his working years, either competing against Bob Arum or working with Bob Arum. And he's always told me, when you shake his hand, make sure you count your fingers after. That's the first thing he told me. And the second thing he told me was, he said some quotes the other week, and he's saying he needs to learn from his dad. His dad was a great promoter. He says the reason he's saying that is because I never invaded his space. I was never a threat to him. So what I am is a big threat to Bob, but I have so much respect for him as a promoter and as a man at 87 years old. I find it hard to fire back at him too much.
Will you be doing this when you're 87?
No, I won't.
You will.
If I'm alive at 87,
still breathing,
I'll be amazed. Being around Bob the other day at the press conference, I learned a lot, and I've been in the American market for 6 months, and he's been in the American market for, I don't know,
60 years.
Yeah, so he's probably right. I probably do know dick about boxing and promoting in America compared to him. But you can't just come here in 6 months and expect to know the world. I mean, if you want to get ultra critical of Bob, I think his shows lately have been absolutely dreadful. Now, when was the last major fight card that Top Rank put on? I'm talking about major fight card.
It's either Crawford and Horn.
No, I'm talking about, but Crawford Horn's not. I'm talking about a mega fight. It's been a long time. I mean, last week they put on a Bulgarian against a Romanian on ESPN. It was the lowest rating audience since ESPN's return to boxing, right? So when you talk about ESPN and what it does, and Lomachenko, he's Picasso, they haven't sold a ticket at Staples Center. No one's talking about the fight. So these are the things that I should be saying back to him, but I don't want to start. I genuinely have a lot of respect for Bob Arum. I'm actually quite honoured that he's even talking about me as much as he is. One thing I have to correct him on is he talks about Tyson Fury. Joshua's got to leave Hearn, leave DAZN. Joshua's not with DAZN. He has a fight-by-fight deal, and I believe his future will be with DAZN. But at the moment, we're being very careful to make sure that those career-defining fights are available to Joshua without network obstruction. And I will make sure that is the case. And that's the same can't be said about Tyson Fury. I actually think Bob's under a lot of pressure from ESPN and also the UFC, because the UFC are driving all the numbers on ESPN Plus, not Bob Arum. And actually he's under pressure because he doesn't have any big fights for Tyson Fury. So the one thing he said that just stuck with me a little bit was Joshua's with DAZN. He got no, fight by fight. I believe Joshua will be long-term with DAZN, but I won't let it obstruct the big fights.
So does that mean, and I hate, this is a little over my head business, but does that mean if there's more money in the pot for everybody on a Showtime pay-per-view, on a Fox pay-per-view?
Quite possibly.
Does that mean Joshua could...
Show me the money, man. Show me the money.
Quite possibly. Our priority...
So that means Joshua Wilder could happen on Showtime pay-per-view, could happen
Could do. Our priority is to make that fight. Again, we can make that fight on Showtime, Top Rank, ESPN, DAZN. Our priority is to make that fight on DAZN. Joshua is with DAZN. But I go back to what I said. The ultimate focus for Anthony Joshua is to box Deontay Wilder. And if someone comes up with a load of money, guaranteed money, for it to be on Showtime, so be it. I just believe that the people that are going to come up with the most money for that fight are DAZN. But if I'm wrong, and if there's another opportunity, certainly we'll look at that as well.
Ultimately, would you be maybe also okay with it going to Showtime or Fox because you feel your guy would win and he'd bring the belts back to...
Look, it doesn't... The difference between this side of the camp and maybe the other side of the camp is I don't make the decisions. I don't even influence the decisions. If you want my advice, you can have it. Anthony Joshua will make the decisions. He wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Even if, as people wanted to spin, Hearn doesn't want to fight Hearn, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't talk Joshua into doing something. I don't convince him to do something that he shouldn't. That's for other people to do in other teams. But he wants to fight Wilder. So again, he wants that fight after the Miller fight. That's the only fight that he wants. If he has to fight Usyk, so be it. But he wants the Wilder fight next, not 2020. 2019.